Everybody ready? Danny, welcome. Welcome to our Zoom conference. So,
Yeah, this is a first for me right here. I've done many Zooms, but not this kind of deal.
well, the way you're dressed, you look like you're about 20 years old right now.
Well, I'm trying to feel a little bit younger, look a little younger.
If you'd like to open up and just talk about the quarterbacks in general and then take some questions, we'll be ready to go.
Okay. A lot of good work. We've really put Sam and Tyler kind of in a really good competition mode. They've been splitting reps and alternating ones and twos every day and every period. So it's a real even battle that way. Until we get into some real scrimmage type of deals, we're going to continue to evaluate everything. But the game stuff will weigh a little heavier. Brandon Lewis has been playing kind of the third guy and getting some reps here and there. One thing about trying to rep too many guys is we need to get a guy ready to play in a game. So we've been really featuring Sam and Tyler that way, giving them a lot of good work, and then we'll continue to do that for a while until we start to separate a little bit. But good work from the guys. We've been through 4 installation days. We did some situational football yesterday and today, and getting a lot of good work at some throwing some different things at them. So I've been pleased with where they're at.
Great. First question is from Brian Howell for the Boulder Camera.
All right, Danny, you got a couple. You kind of joked about feeling youthful. I'm curious if it kind of energizes you a little bit to come into a new situation and work with some of these young guys.
It does. It's it's kind of a new system and guys I don't know, and it's always I think just exciting to work with different people and you kind of get fresh perspective on things. And we've been going so long on Zoom and with no spring practice. It's just fun to be outside or getting to get real practices started, and of course we were in the indoor today, but just the fact that we're on the field has really been a lot of fun.
And as a follow-up to that, I just want to ask you, you mentioned the kind of shortened time you need to get somebody ready for a game. Does that really kind of benefit Tyler and Sam in this quarterback competition because they have been in college football and not necessarily in your system, but they've been in college football longer, so they kind of know those nuances?
I would say yes and no. Yes, in the fact that they're older and they've experienced, a fall camp, kind of how the season goes. The concern I have a little bit is the experience in playing in games. It's invaluable. You can't. It's hard to simulate game experience. Even in scrimmages, they're not getting hit. So I worry about that a little bit, and just experience-wise, we're still young, although we're upperclassmen. So it's a little bit of both. They have some experience with the season, with how fall camp goes, with how the game week goes, how the preparation goes, but neither of them played a lot of football. So we're going to have some growing pains with that here and there, and we're going to try to eliminate that as best we can and get them up to speed and get them the most experience we can getting into the game week.
Next question is from Adam Munsterteiger, Buff Stampede.
Hey, Coach, when you are judging a quarterback competition, are you tracking stats? Or are you going more off of what your eyes are telling you? And then the second part of that, you mentioned that you don't have experience in that room. What ways can you put pressure on these guys in a preseason camp?
Well, first of all, evaluation-wise, it's a little bit subjective and objective. It's a lot of statistics. It's a lot of completion percentage and decision-making grades, taking care of the ball, stuff you can really, put statistics with. And there is definitely a feel. How is the command in the huddle? How are they directing traffic and getting guys lined up, taking signals, processing the information? So that it's both. It's both. And then what was the second part of that question? You had mentioned about statistics.
Yeah, are there some ways you can put pressure on these guys during a preseason camp? Obviously, it doesn't simulate a game, but what ways do you try to do that?
Yeah, I think it's all through situational football. We try to we have a pressure period. We have a red zone period with third downs. We try to put them in different situations where they've got to get us in the right play, get us in the right protection, get rid of the ball quickly, make the right read, and make a tight window throw in the red zone. There's a lot of different things that we're evaluating, but the experience part of it is tough to simulate, but just work and reps is what really helps. A guy feeling really comfortable and prepared as they do that more and more. I believe they kind of gain that experience, and of course it's different when it's real live football. But if they're prepared and confident, they're going to be ready to play in the games.
Justin Guerrero, CU Sports Nation.
Hey, Danny, appreciate your time. Thanks for being here. With respect to Brendan, at this point in time, how would you evaluate kind of where he's at in terms of just grasping offensive terminology, the playbook, and all those areas that all freshmen do have to get acclimated to when they switch from high school to college?
Yeah, I've been really pleased with his command and his knowledge. He asks good questions. He is young, but when he goes in there, he doesn't act like a freshman. He hasn't gotten a ton of reps yet. Not having spring ball didn't help him. There's a lot of work in those 15 practices. So he's really raw, but I've been pleased with how confident he is. He speaks confidently. He moves guys around. He barks out the cadence and calls. He's good that way. I've been excited about him. He hasn't gotten as much work as you'd like to get for the third string guy yet because of how we've been dealing with 1 and 2 right now. But I like where he's at, and I think he's going to be a good player.
Terry Frei from assorted.com.
In the wake of the decision Sam made and you presumably made about his future, does he look like a quarterback again? How hard has it been for him to become a quarterback again?
He's always been a quarterback. He's been good. I think I wasn't part of that transition. I don't know how that went, but I've known him as a quarterback for a long time, coming out of Beaverton. Looked at him when I was at Nebraska, and he's comfortable. He's right back to where he was. We're glad he's back and with us. We're excited that I think there was a need last year probably for that position that he played on defense, and it was probably a situation that he was just being a good teammate, and they made a decision to get some help over there. But I'm glad that we got him back. I think he's competing and playing, and he hasn't missed a beat in terms of the quarterback part of his job, and we're just getting him up to speed with any of the changes, terminology and things that we've made from last year. But he's not skipped a beat.
Just curious, have you gotten rid of everything red in your wardrobe?
Absolutely. I don't even let the kids wear it. We have had to make that change. So the red is no longer in the closets or the drawers at our place.
Back to Brian Howell.
Hey, Coach, I want to ask you about Tyler Lytle. He's obviously been waiting his turn, and you haven't known him until this year, but have you seen a hunger in him with a guy that's been sitting for 3 years, just kind of waiting for this opportunity?
Absolutely. Tyler's been really, really sharp, good knowledge of football and different systems, and been pleased with how he's worked. He does a great job preparing and being ready to go each day, studying the script, studying the playbook, just being ready to go each day. I've been pleased with that. He's got a hunger to play, being a backup for a little while. That's a good thing to be. I coached a guy last year that was the same way, hadn't played till his senior year, and kind of finally got his chance and performed very well. And I would expect the same from Tyler. I think he's done a nice job, and he's really been a great worker and getting ready to go.
Henry Chisholm, DNVR.
Hi, Danny. When you have a quarterback competition like this, how much time does it take after you've chosen a starter to kind of tweak the offense to fit his strengths? And how much time does it really take just to prepare him for the season once he is the guy?
Yeah, that's a good question. As we install, we're putting in a pretty pretty big menu of things that kind of benefit both guys. So as we go further into game planning, we tend to narrow that down a little bit in terms of a menu and cater it towards our opponent, but also to the quarterback. If we've got a guy that's really good throwing a particular route compared to the other guy, then we'll do more of those. If we've got a better runner than another, then we might feature some more quarterback runs. So just that kind of deal. So I don't think it takes too long if initially our menu's big enough, and it is. We've got plenty of offense. We will be able to transition that quickly once we make a decision. So as we're installing now, we are preparing for the season. We're trying to put in, 6 or 7 games worth of stuff to just at least touch on it, so that when we do narrow down a game week, it's not a brand new play. It's something we can refer back to. So it won't take us long to transition and get ready for a game week.
Got 2 more for you, Danny. First up from Neil Elks, ubuffs.com.
Hey, Danny, just a real quick question. In a perfect world, what is your timeline for coming up with a starter?
Well, it's as soon as possible. I say that without having even had a scrimmage yet. I would like to have somebody separate quickly by outperforming the other guy. As soon as that is shown up, I think we'll make a decision. But right now, with being in 4 days without a scrimmage, it's a little tough to tell. I think as we get a more and more situational football, I think that stuff is a little easier to really evaluate and make a decision. But it's a close competition, so we don't want to rush it. But at the same time, we want to get going and get the guy that's going to be the starter, most of the reps, getting ready to play a game.
And the last one for you, Danny, is from Brian Halligan.
Hey, Danny, one other quick thing. You have a number of walk-ons at that quarterback position as well. A lot of fans were excited about Mike Chandler coming in. I'm curious your first impressions of Mike, and then also if you could talk about what the benefit is to having so many walk-ons, at that position. Does it help get receivers ready? I mean, what are the benefits to having so many guys there?
Yeah, it's the most I've had, which isn't a bad thing. It allows you to send a guy to help with other positions. Maybe the running backs need some work on ball handling, or the DBs need a quarterback to throw routes to, or O-line needs a guy to help call the cadence and protection. So we can use those guys and give them some work. But a guy like Mike, really excited about Mike and his high school film. We haven't given him much work. He's really come in late because he had no off-season program. He's really just here in August. So he's trying to catch up and learn. But you can tell athletically he's exciting. Other than that, we haven't had a lot of time with him, a lot of work with him. But we are excited about the future. I think having those guys, it's allows you to have a signaler, to have different jobs that they can contribute different ways. So it's a good group. It's a great group. They all work well together. They help each other out, and I like the rapport they have with each other in that room.
Great. Thanks, Danny. Appreciate you joining us today.